So what is Warriors of Krynn? How is this different?
Well, Wizards came to me about 2 years ago and said we're going to be rebooting Dragonlance, and we're interested in doing a board game that would tie into when there are big battles.
So during the course of the campaign, there are a couple of critical battles, and then there are smaller engagements which the DM can use flexibly as and when it fits into the campaign.
Okay, so I mean, it's designed that you can go in and out.
Exactly, and this gives the DM and the players a way to engage in a great moment in the campaign, a great battle, in a way that you wouldn't typically do if you were running a role-playing session.
There's different battlefields, there's different tiles, and characters move around, and you're always juggling a couple things. You're trying to keep any of the battle tiles from falling, so you help the armies that are there, but you're one person, you can't really change it on a regular basis. You can just throw your hero might at it once in a while. But also in each scenario, the heroes have a mission that they're trying to do, whether it's getting people to, survivors to a boat, or find a way into that city, or recover this spy, or find a pass up through the mountain so we can get out of here. The heroes are people who are trying to do too much at once, and that's what makes it fun.
It sounds like there's a lot of there is a cost to every choice that you make in this.
Yeah, it's a cooperative game, and from 3 to 5 players or 3 to 5 heroes on the board. And like many cooperative board games, there's usually one way to win and a lot of ways for things to go wrong.
Right, and your hero, I mean, like you said, you don't bring your entire character sheet, but if you play a bard, if you play a wizard, if you play a monk, that all can influence the battlefield.
Yeah, they all influence it in different ways. Like we're pulling the camera back, so your rogue might have a ton of little tricks that they do when we're right in a room, or in a tavern, or you're trying to con or bribe someone that doesn't make sense when you're looking at an entire battlefield. And so everyone gets abstracted down to well, here are the 3 or 4 things, or 6 or 7 as you level up in power, like your big signature tricks, the things that would normally require a short or long rest that you can do that would make a difference even when you're on something with hundreds or thousands of troops running around you.
And you don't have to have, you can meld those experiences, or you could just buy, just the Dragonlance setting and just play it through, and it's completely separate from the board game, and the same for the board game itself for Warriors. But again, you have that kind of interlinking if you want it.
Exactly. It's designed that they can complement each other, or you can play either by themselves. So if you want to just have a great role-playing campaign, you can do that without the battle game. But the battle game can also be played by Dragonlance fans who don't want to do the role-playing.
What's interesting about this is it very much feels like a D&D party that is now in charge of an entire side of a battle. And then that's what you've kind of captured here, correct?
That was the intent. We really were trying to capture the idea that you are that band of brothers on a D&D battlefield. The game starts with the characters are low level, and we call that recruit tier. So the first 4 scenarios, your recruit tier, you're relatively low level, and you can help, but not that much. Your movement is limited, your abilities to help are limited, the battles are a little bigger than you, things are a little more chaotic than you'd expect. And after the next 4 battles, you go up to the veteran tier, and you get more powers, and you get more cards, and suddenly it feels like you can be in 2 places at once, and you can make bigger swings in any battle. And then the last one, which we're calling the legendary tier, represents high-level characters, and at that point in some battles, you're literally teleporting amongst the continent, going to different places and using magical portals, and in some cases you show up on the battlefield and there's 3 people left versus an army, and you're like, I got this. So it does do the character progression as you go.
How many battles are in this?
So there are 12 battles that you can play. They all vary a lot. We tried to make sure that we ended up with battles that looked and felt different, so it wasn't just the fact of the battles becoming bigger and bigger. We wanted battles that gave you entirely different challenges. So you will see as and when you play, which I'm sure you will, that you'll get halfway through the campaign and you'll begin a new scenario, and right from the outset it's like, what's going to happen here? Because the way this battle is laid out is entirely different than anything we've seen before.
That's fantastic. And I'm really excited for the idea of, I'm just excited that I could play like a war game and then immediately there's like RP there. There's like this kind of like wonderful bleed between like a strategy game and a role-playing fantasy game. I just think I'm just really excited. I'm just excited for Dragonlance in general, but this is like really like getting your hooks into it, like where that battle really matters to you.
Exactly, and I think that we believe that the board game itself is a great board game. And if you were doing nothing else, this would be a fun experience going through a series of 12 battles where there is some underlying narrative within the battles. You see commanders mature from someone who, has never been in battle before to being a kind of a key commander at the end of the campaign. You as yourself as heroes mature through the course of the campaign. And if you were just playing the board game, that would be great. But you have the chance to play this alongside a RPG campaign in Dragonlance with Dungeons & Dragons. So now, anything and everything that happens in the battle game can and will be brought into the narrative of the characters, the way the DM talks to the characters. It's like, you won that battle, you're the heroes, so now you can, play on that reputation within the RPG. Or perhaps you didn't succeed so well, and you were supposedly part of what made the Alliance army fail in that last battle. Well, that's a little bit of shame that now you have to carry in the RPG as well. So the performance in the battle game can absolutely have a narrative and role play consequence in how you're playing the campaign.